Coming up on today's video, we're going to dive into the latest roster news around the New Orleans Saints. We're also going to discuss some front office rumors with some buzz that I saw on social media yesterday, and Mickey Loomis even addressed him in his most recent press conference, which just wrapped up. And if you want to get a shout out, we're going to tell you how you can get that opportunity if you stick around in today's video. But before we dive into all this and more, I got to give a big time shout out to today's presenting sponsor, and that is Prize Picks. Baby, I love this app. I'm addicted to this app. And let me tell you how you can win some real-time money. You go to prizepicks.com/CLNS, plug in promo code CLNS, and you can get a first deposit match up to $100. So if you want to lay down some projections on the NFL this weekend, I'm rocking with Lamar Jackson and Romeo Doubs. I'm a firm believer it's not the size of the PP, it's how you put the PP into action. I selected the more for Lamar Jackson, 54.5 rushing yards, and I also selected the more for Romeo Doubs receiving yards at 39.5. Life's too short to project the less, so I'm riding with more. And if you want to use my picks, if you want to make your own picks, and if you want to place down projections on the NBA, college sports, the MLB, NHL, and anything else, go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Plug in promo code CLNS for that first deposit match up to $100. Shout out to Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy. All that information in the comment section and description of this video. All right, so the latest roster news is around Rajon Wright, a cornerback who recently signed a future/reserve deal with the New Orleans Saints. And if you're unfamiliar with the player, well, I was too until I did a little bit of research on him. So he's a second-year player out of Oregon State, and he's actually listed at 6'1", $193, and he spent times with the Panthers. He was signed as a UDFA, and he also spent some time with the Raiders. And there is something to say about the loaded cornerback room in New Orleans. You got Marshawn Lattimore. Maybe you bring back a guy like Isaac Yiadom. Alante Taylor's on the roster, Paulson Adebo, and then you also got a lot of other guys on the practice squad that could also earn a spot on the 53-man roster. But could Marshawn Lattimore be traded? Would this give them some more depth? Who knows? But for the players that have also inked reserve/future deals, they include most of the practice squad: James Robinson, Jordan Mims, Tommy Kramer, Mark Evans, Michael Jacobson, Tommy Hudson, Bion Hicks, Rajon Wright, Nico Lalos, Anthony Orji, John Pennicini, and Jack Heflin. Notable names not on this list: Shaq Davis and Marquez Callaway, who are both on the practice squad. That doesn't mean they won't get signed. That just means right now they haven't been signed to future deals. But guys, do not miss out on a thing around the New Orleans Saints. We are your off-season hub, so turn on your notifications and subscribe. We have over 25,000 subs, and that doesn't happen on accident. So stay informed, stay in the know, and stay locked in with Saints Now by Chat Sports. Subscribe and turn your notifications to all. All right, so there was some buzz around the front office, and the rumor was that Mickey Loomis will be elevated to vice president of the team, and Khai Harley would take over as the next GM. So let's talk about the front office changes and what could happen. So Mickey Loomis, if you didn't know, is the longest active tenured head coach, or NFL GM, which is pretty interesting. He's seen a lot of football. He's seen a lot of guys come, a lot of guys go, and right now he's still the GM of the Saints. Jeff Ireland, he's the vice president/assistant general manager, and he's of college personnel, and he has a GM interview with the Los Angeles Chargers. Khai Harley, he's the assistant general manager and the vice president of football operations, and he has been requested for an interview for the general manager position over in Carolina, which would mean if he left, you have Terry Fontenot in Atlanta, you have Khai Harley in Carolina. That means the Mickey Loomis GM tree is taking over the NFC South. So this rumor did start from the Saints Happy Hour podcast. They put this tweet out yesterday afternoon reading, "Hearing Mickey Loomis will be elevated to vice president and Khai Harley will be the next Saints GM." More on the live show tonight. Admittedly, I missed the live show. I had a lot of things going on at home, so I wasn't able to tune in. But There was some context added by John Hendricks here. He quote tweeted this post and said, "Have definitely heard a rumor about Loomis getting a step up. Khai Harley was on the Panthers' radar." He is getting that interview with the GM like we mentioned just a few moments ago. But then Nick Underhill tweeting this out yesterday, I thought it was pretty interesting. I don't anticipate Mickey Loomis's role changing. So we get some conflicting reports, some conflicting rumors, and that's why we're here to talk about it, because I want to give you guys my take. We're here to tell you guys what's going on, and then I'm going to give you guys my opinion. So for y'all who are curious as to what I think, I do believe it's time for Mickey Loomis to take a step back. Now, I'm not saying that Mickey Loomis has to step down. What do I mean by this? What do I mean? I mean, you don't have to step down. You just take a step back. Just take your hands off of the operations entirely. You can still have an opinion. You can still have a pulse on the situation and on what's going on with the team, but you don't have to be the guy who's making all the decisions. I think Khai Harley should be the guy who takes over as the GM, and I do believe that the Saints will lose a valuable man like Harley to a team very soon if they don't give him that position soon. So Mickey Loomis, during the press conference, or today's press conference that just wrapped up, he said this and addressed those rumors. Yeah, I saw a couple of things. I know what you're referencing. Someone just made that up. It's never been discussed or talked about. I've been asked that question, and I've said, look, I'm going to just wake up one morning and say this is the day. And it's not going to be tomorrow, but everything for the next 10 years is open. We will see. And that's referring to, hey, you're getting kind of old. You still able to do this at a high level? And he's saying, I'm getting older, but I'm still moving. And then Mickey Loomis did give some credit to Jeff Ireland and Michael Parenton and Khai Harley, saying, we got great candidates inside our building with Khai, Michael, and Jeff. We have some top flight executives in our building, and I'm rooting for them to get an opportunity. Although, if they get one, I'll probably rue it. So I want Mickey Loomis to let Khai Harley take over as the GM. So help me make the front office hear us. Type who dat, spam it in the comment section, and get loud for me, Saints fans. The front office will hear us as everybody who watches this gives me a who dat in the comment section. Now, if you didn't know, here's some context on as to who Khai Harley is. He's the salary cap magician. He's the guy who's been making the salary cap go from way over to right under it and, having some money to spend. He's a very young and hot name in terms of future GMs and people who can take over in front offices and as an executive for NFL teams. He's an up-and-coming name, and every year his name gets a little bit more and more momentum. The snowball effect, if you will, just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And in 2023, it was pretty cool for Khai. He was promoted from the salary cap specialist to the full-on assistant GM. So I think that's a pretty telling, what's the promotion? That was the word I was looking for. It's a pretty telling promotion because, the Saints front office trust this guy, and they see a lot, they see a bright future in him. And I do believe that the Saints have to keep Khai Harley. He's a very smart guy. He knows how to make that money stretch out to every single penny. And I think that if you promote Khai Harley, you get some positive changes around the locker room and around the team and around the stadium and around the organization as a whole. I think that there's a lot of times where you have a young guy come in and take over, and he just brings a whole new wave of energy and excitement into the team. And I do want to give credit to Mickey Loomis in his press conference today. He seemed to have a lot of energy. He seemed really excited for this offseason. He seemed very energetic, which is something we haven't seen in the last few press conferences he's been a part of. But shifting gears back to the GM rumors for Jeff Ireland, he's actually getting offered, or if he were to get offered the GM position in LA, it would be a promotion. He was the Dolphins GM from 2008 to 2013, and as we said earlier, he is filling in the role of vice president and assistant GM of college personnel. So that would be an upgrade for him. So if he does get it, congratulations, Jeff. We're all rooting for you, but selfishly, we want you to stick around in New Orleans. So my final takes on just this as a whole and this idea and this segment of the show. If you can keep Khai Harley and Jeff Ireland around, I'm a very happy camper. But I do think that it's hard to see a world where both of those guys return. I could see a situation where Jeff Ireland leaves, Khai Harley gets to fill in a little bit of a bigger role, and he can maybe be the successor to Mickey Loomis. But Khai Harley leaves. Maybe they try to keep Jeff Ireland around. Who knows? So I think that it's hard to see both of these guys stick around. I would love to get them to both be here in New Orleans next year, but again, you can't control what you can't control. So if you want Khai Harley to be the GM, we are going to get the Khai chat going. Get on your Khai Harley flow. Khai. I love me some Khai Harley, and I want him to be our GM. So help me out and get loud, Saints fans. All right, so I need you guys to just get informed on some other coaching news, some final thoughts, and just some random things going on around the team and around the division. The New York Giants hired Joel Thomas to take over as their running backs coach. This is a lateral move, as Joel Thomas was the running backs coach for New Orleans this past season. The Saints could have blocked this move. They did not. I think that says enough. I think that they think he's a fine coach, but I think they can also upgrade at that position. So, congratulations to Joel Thomas. We wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors, but for us Saints fans, it's time to move on to the next big thing. And for the Atlanta Falcons, they already are kind of getting that next big thing moving. So on Tuesday, January 16th, right here, Jim Harbaugh interviewed with the Atlanta Falcons. That's not good news. I don't like that. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I don't like that. Jim Harbaugh is a winner. Anywhere he goes, anywhere he puts his hand down on, any football team that has his pulse on it is a winning football team. So kind of scares me, but I also will say it's the Falcons, so we know they'll find a way to mess it up. And then another one, Bill Belichick did interview with the Atlanta Falcons as well. So it's pretty interesting. The guy that you blew a 28-3 lead against might be your head coach. Pretty funny how the world comes full circle, isn't it? It's just so good. It's just so good. But honestly, this does impact the New Orleans Saints because if either of these two guys comes in, I think that could be a very big shakeup for the NFC South. The Falcons are a good team. Let's give them credit where it's due. They have a good roster. They have a mismanaged roster, but they have a good roster. So if one of these two guys comes in, I think that could be pretty big news for the New Orleans Saints. And, that'll be something that you'll be a little bit worried about at least. But, guys, it is a real one roll call. If you made it to the end of this video, I need you to give me a real one in the comment section, and we'll give you a shout-out on a future video. Shout out to all of you Saints fans who are stuck around, and I appreciate all of you. Y'all stay golden. We'll see you next time.